Soul is directed by Pete Docter and tells the story of Joe Gardner, a middle school jazz teacher who ends up wanting more in life due to how his life has turned out. He doesn't get any big gigs and he's not as successful as he wanted to be. When he ends up landing a spot in a gig with the person he idolizes, he ends up accidentally getting sent to the soul world, in which he is supposed to die, but he tries to train a soul named 22 so he can end up trying to go back to Earth, taking her place so that she doesn't have to live life and he can go back to his life. Now, this film is, I think, really special because of the moral it teaches. And I think the message is something that anyone can get behind, and it's something very important nowadays. It's about living, it's about life and purpose, because everyone's trying to run around trying to find their purpose, and does it really make them happy? What does make you happy in life? And I think this film really nails it on the head, even though it doesn't want to be very specific about it in certain aspects, because that's the point of the film. We shouldn't have to figure out what makes us happy. We should just live life. Before I get into more of those details, I'll just say a lot of the positives I can about this film. I like the score, both the jazz sequences and the electronic sequences we find. The electronic sequences being more in the soul world, and it's very bright and colorful in there too. You've seen the trailers with the soul characters and how they look, more in essence to Inside Out characters, the emotions in the head of Riley and all the other characters. That film was directed by Pete Docter as well. These sequences in the soul world feel a lot similar to those sequences in Inside Out, and I think he carried a lot of that over to this film, especially more of the emotional sense of that, because this film is really emotional. It really hits you hard in certain aspects. Talking more about filmmaking and technical aspects, I think the sound design in this film is brilliant. It really sounds like you're listening to someone playing a saxophone. Now, I played saxophone throughout middle school, and I dabbled with it a little in high school, and when you blow through the reed and the mouthpiece and you playing and pressing the keys, it doesn't sound like how it would listening to it on like a score piece or something. You hear the metal and the notes being pressed, and it's exactly how it sounds in this film. I think that must have took a lot of effort to go through to do that for the sound design in this film. It's incredible. Pixar outdoes himself every time, again and again, on a technical aspect, especially with the look of this film. This film just looks brilliant. It looks amazing. It looks crisp, clean. It looks amazing. A lot of the sequences just look like you ripped it straight out of real life, like you took a picture on a street. I think the film was really funny too. There's a lot of great, well-written jokes, and a certain aspect of the comedy in this film are cutaway gags, which I can really associate more to Family Guy episodes, which they are littered with. Some of them are funny, a lot of them are really funny, and some of them aren't as funny as others, but I think the cutaway gags really do take away from some of the tension that the film builds, or the progression and the pacing, because, we got to cut away to a joke, even though we could just keep going along with the pacing of the film as it wants to go along, And throughout the film, we don't get a cutaway gag for a while, but when we finally do get one, it doesn't feel as funny as it should have because it wasn't matching with the pacing of the rest of the film, as if they were more apparent earlier on. But it's just a minor gripe I had. It doesn't really kill the film for me. Nothing kills the film for me. I think this is a great film. There's a lot of great aspects to appreciate about it, but there are certain things I also didn't like. One, for instance, being the cutaway gags, some of them being funny, some of them aren't, and how it messes with the pacing of the film. Some other issues I had with the film were minor conveniences that had to happen, such as character conflicts, because we needed a reason for the characters to split up right before the third act, because there needs to be a conflict. And the conflict that happens doesn't seem all that genuine. It seems very selfish of Joe to accuse 22 of only wanting to experience life because she did it through him. And there are other aspects, such as certain things not making sense when you really think about them, about how they jump through the soul world and to the real world, what happens to their bodies. Certain things like that cannot seem to make a lot of sense when you think about it, but I didn't really think about it much while watching the film because I was more interested in the conflicts between Joe and 22. That, and I wish this film hit me a little harder on the emotional side, because I did get teary-eyed while watching this film, but I just wish that it hit me just a little bit harder, because Coco made me cry, Inside Out made me cry, but this film, I was really close, but I just wanted that emotional punch just to hit a little more, especially with the subject matter that it was dealing with. All in all, I think this is a great film. Pixar has done it again. They made another great film to put on their resume. So in the end, I'm giving Soul a B+. So tell me what you thought about Soul in the comments below. Leave a like on this video, share it with a friend if they've seen Soul, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. Bye.